Want help to grow your business? Download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.
Hi, I'm Dale Beaumont. Welcome to Secrets Exposed. This is a show that takes you up close and personal with world-leading business experts. And our topic today is 11 ways to better tell your story to grow your business. That coming up in just a moment. My special guest today is Nick Bowditch, a successful small business owner that's had experience in working with both Facebook and Twitter, and also running his own business as well, the Mentoring Club. You can find out more by going to businessblueprint.com/experts, and there you can find out more information about Nick Bowditch. Our topic for this interview is 11 ways to better tell your story to grow your business. And we're going to do a deep dive into this subject. We're going to talk about, first of all, why this is important, why storytelling is an important category for business success. Then we're going to go through 11 plus different ways to better tell your story as a business owner. And then we're actually going to give you a step-by-step formula that you can use for storytelling in social media posts, blog articles that you might be writing, in press releases, and that you can use when you may be giving media interviews one day as well. Nick Bowditch, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Dale. Thanks for having me.
All right, tell us a bit about your journey as an entrepreneur, some of the businesses that you've been involved in, a few different industries. Tell us a bit about what you've done.
Yeah, so I started on the whole entrepreneurial journey with my own small business many years ago now, not many, 10 years ago now. I was doing the commute, working for the man, and in a job that I absolutely hated. And I was commuting for 20 hours a week to a job that I absolutely hated. And I kept having this sort of flickering, burning idea in my head that I could do it better than the place that I was working at. It was selling retail travel to people, add in the paper on the Sunday, they ring up on the Monday and try to book their holiday or whatever, and we would to and fro and book the holiday, and that was how it worked. But I couldn't work out why we weren't doing it at home. Why weren't we? You know, we could all do that in our jammies in our own home, but we were doing it on a floor of cubicles, 3x3 cubicles, and it was just not a very great place to be. And I had this idea, and I really wanted to build this idea of that making it online. At the time, there was no real online option for booking travel, and I knew absolutely nothing about business or running a business or starting a business or whatever. But I thought, well, I'll give it a crack. You know, what could be worse? So we did that, and then I started the business. And when we started, we had about $400 in the bank, and so no money and no idea, and we quickly burnt through that. We didn't know what we were doing, and then eventually we found social media. At the time when we started with...
so what year was that?
So that was 2007.
Okay.
2007.
So YouTube was on the scene, Facebook was gathering...
They'd all started, although there was no ads on Facebook. You couldn't self-serve ads on Facebook at the time, so it was all about...
Was Twitter around then?
Yeah, it was, yeah,
yep.
but it hadn't really taken hold here in Australia. But it was all about, with Facebook especially, it was about starting conversation, creating engagement, building relationships, all this offline sort of idea. Because there was no ads, you couldn't just spread your message to whoever you wanted it. So we started to record video as well, and it was really, once we combined video with the social stuff we were doing, the business started to take off finally. And
so you had a travel business that was online, using social media as your primary source of marketing. Only source of marketing, and you were also using video to engage with people as well.
Yep.
And leading them to a phone call.
We were leading them to a landing page.
Wow, cool.
It was a lot more. Not as grandiose as I've just made it sound.
That's all right. A landing page, and then they would fill out a form, would they?
Yeah, so they'd send an inquiry, which would notify me by email. I would ring them or send them the details. We were booking them through a wholesaler here in Australia. It was very lightweight, but it started to build. And in 18 months' time, we started to turn over $1 million. And we still hadn't had any staff or shop front. We didn't have any... We didn't have really any sort of growth plans or anything like that. It just started to happen, which was great. We still made a ton of mistakes, tons of mistakes. But anyway, emboldened by that success, I then sort of built two more businesses. The third one was an agency that helped small businesses perform better on Facebook and using social media. And that led then to me being recruited by the book to to start work there again.
Okay, so tell us about that. So you're an entrepreneur and you decided to take a little bit of a break and to work for Facebook. What was it like to work for Facebook? What was your role there? And what are some of the things that you learned?
It was fantastic, is the short answer. My official title there was Country Manager of Australia and New Zealand for Marketing Operations. So I ran everything in Australia and New Zealand that had to do with small business. And when we had some big small businesses. Caltex was one of my clients. Like that kind of, it was everyone but the top sort of 200 or 300 spending clients in the country. I was responsible for. This guy who didn't know anything about business.
And you laugh when you say that.
Yeah, well,
I was responsible for.
I kind of faked my way through most of it, but no, it was great. Working at Facebook was amazing because I was the dumbest person in the building by miles, and that was fine. You know, it was really a real privilege to literally work with geniuses every day. I learnt something every day.
So there's no IQ test for your role?
No, thank God. No, there wasn't.
No software coding?
No. In fact, there was no engineering at the time in Australia. It was all just sales and operations and marketing. And I started with a team of me, and then we built out a team that eventually, when I left Facebook, was killing it.
And people hear about this iconic, figure, Mark Zuckerberg now. What was it like to work, underneath him? I know there were conference calls and things that he ran all the time as well. What was it like to work with a visionary like that?
Do you know, it's not just Zuck. Like, it's everyone employed under him. You know, he's a big believer, as we all should be, to employ people smarter than you and have people better than you around you. And some of the people who are in second and third tier jobs there in management roles, especially any sort of people managers there, were just amazingly empowering, inclusive, really, really great. And that all comes from him. He does a Q&A session every week that any of the employees can either be at if they're in the California or live stream into. And for the first 5 minutes of that hour, he talks about product updates, things that are happening, whatever in the business. And then for the next 55 minutes, it's Ask Me Anything. And people ask him anything. And for, a CEO of $1 billion company to lay himself completely bare like that every week and answer anything anybody in the business wants to ask. It's just...
And people talk about their personal, issues that they
and
need help with and his...
And,
right.
Why do we do that? That product sucks, or that got us in trouble with media, or that doesn't work, or whatever.
Just complete open communication.
Yeah, remarkably open.
And does he? What about if he doesn't have any answers to them? What about if he doesn't? He just is honest.
He just truly is honest. Like some of the stuff, when Facebook, when Facebook bought Instagram, that was an interesting week. And because he'd spent a lot of money on buying that.
Great decision, by the way. They just passed 400 million.
No one's laughing
users.
now, right?
Yeah,
but at
exactly.
the time it was like, geez,
what
why are we doing that? And so, and that was what that Q&A was for, really. And he'd make all the directors come and sit in the front row, and you could ask them anything as well. It was just, everybody from him right down to whoever in the business, no matter what office they were in, knew everything about the business. All the finances, all the intricate parts of the complex parts of the business you were aware of. And I don't know many businesses that are like that. Certainly not in small business.
Fantastic. Well, we are going to talk more about storytelling in just a sec, but I'm fascinated by this. So I've got to ask one or two more quick questions. What else can small business owners learn? Because I've already picked up a couple of great tips. What can small business owners learn from a company like Facebook?
When I was there, the motto was, move fast and break things, and now it's move fast and build things, which is much more accurate to what they do. But the notion of, if you're not breaking stuff, you're not going quick enough, you're not iterating, you're not innovating, is something that even the smallest business can take on. We both know small businesses who are operating exactly the same way as they were in 1997, and they might be their head might be above water, but it won't be for long, right? So, that frustrates the users of Facebook a little. Things change so much, but if it didn't, it'd be MySpace, it'd be gone. So I think even the smallest business can learn from that. Keep changing things, keep breaking it, keep trying to be better, keep listening to your users, keep asking your users questions. Facebook asks the users questions all the time, and that sort of drives their business, and I think even the smallest business can learn from that.
Okay, you also worked at Twitter.
Yep.
Was that like sleeping with the enemy? Why did you do that?
It wasn't. I left Facebook, and when I left Facebook, I wanted to leave not carrying a cardboard box, but actually, under my own terms. And so I left when it was good, when I was going well. And at the top, I had a few months off where I did nothing really, played with my kids, and just sort of sculled around for a while. And then Twitter came calling and wanted me to do something similar to what I'd done at Facebook, to really evangelise the product for small businesses to advertise on. This was just when they had launched their small business self-serve ad platform. So I went to work there, completely different environment, completely different company. Still I learnt a ton there still again, and was able to work with really clever people. And I stayed there for about a year and really just started to get things rolling for them in the small business world. And then I just really wanted to go back to being my own man, having my own gig. I had the idea of the mentoring club and thought, well, if not now, then when? And so that was the decision I made to leave.
Fantastic. Now, tell us a bit about, we're talking about storytelling.
To continue enjoying this presentation, download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.